They are still portraying the Matt Gaetz story as being somehow relevant to most people. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to officially put to bed the story of Matt Gaetz. No one, but no one cares about Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is apparently only important to our friends at Fox News because they have nothing to talk about. I'm going to talk to you tonight about something which is near and dear to my heart, and that's called winning the election. And I want you to listen. I want you to listen good. Understand, which is very number one, anything but winning this election. Everything else to me is a complete waste of time. I don't care about Matt Gaetz. I don't care about anything. It means absolutely nothing to me. I don't care about it whatsoever. But I do care about one thing, and that's how to win. And I thought about this good and hard. And I want to share this with you. And I want you to listen to me. And I want you to listen very carefully. You see, my friends, in order to win this election, because that's all I care about. I don't care about I don't care about mRNA and BlackRock and I just I don't care about that right now. That's great. It sounds terrific. But I want to read you a story. I want you to hear about something which is so unbelievably this to me says it all. This is it. This is a story. And this is the part which I think is the most critical. Okay? And it's very, very simple. Very, very simple to explain to people. Very, very simple to put into perspective. Very, very, very simple. And it works something like this. Children. You see, children are the people that somehow have been forgotten through this entire event. This entire thing that we're talking about has been children. And if you don't care about children, if it's not something you particularly care about, I want you to think about it this way. This is the greatest, most important, absolutely obvious issue that that we have right now that is available to us. It is the most important issue there is, bar none. I want to talk to you about this. I want to explain to you how we're going to win this. I'm going to explain to you how this is everything else doesn't matter. How wokeism is dead. The pendulum is coming back like a wrecking ball. And there is good news. Good news. I am telling you, dear friends, listen to me. There is good news. But if you keep watching, if you keep paying attention to these people who I swear to God keep portraying this nonsense, this insanity, there's no hope for you. Now, first of all, let me ask you to please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and the like. And I want you to understand, my friends, about our incredibly important sponsor and how I love these folks. Let me make sure my camera is there we go. That's much, much better. Trying to get this thing perfect. By the way, that was the reason for my delay this evening. I was here, but it's a long story. My friends, we are facing international threats. Headlines that are going out of nowhere. They're just endless. Corruption at home. Where is this going to end? The trouble, as you can imagine, is going to end in what we call loosely disaster. And when that happens, the destruction, the complete and total disintegration of essential systems follow. You know it's true. We have destroyed roads, disrupted deliveries, strikes, all kinds of problems, supply chain, businesses lockdowns, businesses where you have empty store shelves, crucial, critical items missing, and panic. Now you've seen this before. I'm telling you right now. My Patriot Supply, specifically by going to preparedwithlionel.com, has something for you that is like nothing else. And that's why you've got the link here for you. And you can save 25% off a 3-month supply right now of food, emergency food, great food, 120 pounds of food, 2,000 calories a day, something that you will need, that you will not get tired of, with varieties that are critical and essential, and please, now is the time to act because they're planning something. They're always planning something. You don't know when it's gonna hit, and there's nothing that says but nothing better than right before election for there to be panic. So go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. One more time, preparewithlionel.com. There it is. And you can save 25% off a 3-month emergency food kit. Don't ever think I'm trying to scare you. Don't ever think I'm trying to say things just to camp things up, just to sell something. I'm trying to sell emergency food. That's it. It's like people who sell ammunition. They're just selling no, they're selling protection. They're selling freedom. Preparewithlionel.com. Okay, my friends, I want you to listen to this story. And this says it all, and there's nothing better than this to get the point across than this story. Listen to this one. In California, in California, in fact, they say it's been about 90 or so days since Gay Pride Month, roughly. So, according to the LA Unified School District, apparently they thought this particular period of time was too long, and they had to immerse and submerge and overwhelm kids with this, as they describe in City Journal, the arcana of gay and trans identity. So, throughout the week of October the 9th, elementary school classrooms in Los Angeles with as kids as young as 5 will be celebrating National Coming Out Day, which falls on October the 11th. October is LGBTQ, and the Los Angeles Unified School District, and by the way, if it happens there, it's gonna happen everywhere, has reminded what it calls the district's, quote, "fabulous educators." Other programs will take place throughout October, picking up where Gay Pride left off. These LA school teachers are going to receive a toolkit, and it's been forwarded, and it teaches teachers how to lay out the agenda. The use of the toolkit is decorated with Black Power fist superimposed on neon rainbow stripes, is nominally optional, they say, but elementary school teachers who forego the programming during the week will risk stigmatization. As the week of action start, teachers should engage kindergarten and first grade students in discussions about identity, aided by an activity called, quote, an identity map. Pupils chart their experiences of discrimination or privilege along 12 axes, including race, gender, identity, sexuality, mental health, and body size. This mapping allows or permits 7-year-olds to see themselves through the lens of intersectionality. Teachers then post the identity maps on the wall for a class discussion about the students' multiple identities. And each school during the week of action can be devoted to a different LGBTQ plus celebrity whose identity will be announced in morning assemblies suggesting. Now, I want you to listen to me and listen carefully. I don't want to hear any more about Kevin McCarthy. I don't want to hear any more about Matt Gaetz. I don't want to hear about. I don't want to hear about budgets and you know economic. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about any of this usual. I don't want to hear about Ronald Reagan. I don't want to hear about the. I don't want to hear the word conservatism. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. I don't want to hear any of this stuff. None. I nothing. I want the message to be very simple because Americans are stupid. Americans don't understand. Americans don't they don't know what's going on. They said if you think a 5-year-old child, if you think a 5-year-old child is ready for intersectionality, if you think this is appropriate, then vote Democrat. Vote Joe Biden, vote Gavin Newsom, vote AOC. If you think a 5-year-old can talk about coming out of the closet he never or she never thought they were in, about weight and identity and gender and intersectionality to see themselves through the prism. If you want that, if you think that's appropriate for children, you vote Democrat. That's it. That's the issue. Not BRICS, not Ukraine, kids. Get a 5-year-old kid to talk about their gayness, their intersectionality. What does that mean? I don't know. That's it. Ask the black community, some of the most conservative people you will ever meet in your life. Do you like that? Yeah. If you do, vote Democrat. Issue number one. It just shocks people. And the reason why you shock them, you hit them. And I'm not making this up. This is the issue. My friends, let me try this again. Are these people listening? Do you think anybody on Fox News is listening? Are they judge their dates? Judge their dates? All these people are judge their dates? Do you see what somebody showed me judging this? Look, this is my shoes. Look at my shoes. This is my shoes. Look at my shoes. What are you do? What is this? What is happening? This country is falling apart. And you got this day walking around showing about look at my shoes. Look at my clothes. What? Am I missing something here? Ladies and gentlemen, you've been asking where, hang on a minute, where is George Keane? George Keane says, what do you think about Eric Adams going to the border on a fact finding mission? Ludicrous. What he's doing is he's going there, George, and by the way, thank you. He's telling the rest of the folks, guess what I'm doing? I'm open for business. Here's my number. Here's my number. Call me. This guy he's an idiot. With all due respect, he's a jadrul, he's a chooch, he's an idiot. He's a schmuck. He's a whatever you want to call it. He's a Boeotian. A Boeotian, Boeotian, a Boeotian, a dimwit, a dullard, a mumbling, garbled fool, a rube, a child, an inarticulate, dumb as rocks oaf, like no other politician anywhere. Anywhere. He is it. A fool picked specifically to run for office in New York. And who is he against? They pitted him against a good man who's smart as a whip, Curtis Sliwa, head of the Guardian Angels. And Curtis, while he was running with his hat and his sateen jacket, was talking about feral cats. And let's face it, you run against. New York is so, please, it's all Democrat. That's what I think. The issue number one is children, what they're doing to kids. It's it. It's it. It gets their attention. You don't have to. Do you want your kids, granddaughters going to sit there and get in touch with their gayness and their sexuality? What are they talking about? These kids don't even know their favorite color. They don't know their favorite color. They think there's monsters under the bed. They're kids, and you're ruining it. You're taking away this period of innocence by asking them the most stupid questions because of a bunch of idiots who are trying to complicate everything. Most people go through life and they don't have any of these issues about intersectionality or whatever the hell this stuff means. Think about this. Think about this. Race, gender, identity, gender identity. What the hell does that mean? First of all, race. Are we talking about race? What about race? What about it? What about it? I want kids to come in, sit down, shut up, and let's teach you how to read. Let's teach you math. We'll get to your race later. 2 times 2 is 4, no matter your race. Gender identity, sexuality, mental health, body size. What the hell is going on here? You want that? Vote Democrat. You believe in this crap? Vote Democrat. That's it. That's it. That's it. Schools. In Baltimore, I read something that said Baltimore is so bad that kids are better off staying home and watching old Sesame Street. Gone. You have this infiltration, and it's not just the unions. It's this mentality, this woke nonsense. I heard this great definition. Wokeism is a weaponized personal grievances masquerading as a genuine social concern. It's defined by its fraudulent nature as being distinct from legitimate social grievances. Wokeism only knows outrage. It knows not empathy for victims. Just because we're outraged by one serious problem in society doesn't mean we have to turn our filter off and become outraged by everything we see online. No questions asked. We live in a demented and a sick world, a fetid, putrescent, rotting, filthy, awful, odoriferous, slime bucket, bezoar, polyp, a sebaceous cyst of society with a bunch of sexual freaks, perverts, and you name it, pederasts, catamites, name it. Perversion, paraphilia in levels I don't give a damn. And it goes without saying. It's axiomatic. Nobody cares about gays. Look at me. We're from the 60s and 70s. We don't care about gays. We don't care about gays. We don't care. But kids. Let me tell you one story. Got a friend of ours whose son, I don't think he's the brightest kid in the world, but he's very talented in many respects. But he's not. And during the course of this one thing, he says, listen to this. He says, we have this coming out thing. This is New York schools. He says, can I come out? And then the mother, who, by the way, is Asian, basically Chinese, doesn't understand any of this crap. Doesn't understand what the hell you're talking about. Adults, fine. Kids? So she said, no, you can't come out. You're not gay. Yeah, but they have a special day because they think they're gay. But they have a special day at school. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not gay. But I want this special day off. See how that works? If you had a schizophrenic awareness day, all schizophrenics get extra recess. All schizophrenics get it. Can I be schizophrenic too? Apparently you are. Do you hear what I'm saying? This kid had to explain to him, you're not gay. What are you talking about? I don't give a damn what activities they have. Do you know what gay is? No. Well, what the hell are they teaching them? They don't know. And remember when gay used to be like a pejorative? Kids shouldn't be. This is too young. They're not even thinking about this. That's it. That's it. Not Reaganomics, not Bidenomics, not build the wall, drain the swamp. I've got these friends of mine who are still into this stupid vaccine stuff. That's all. It's like, you are an idiot. You've got the greatest issue here. They're screwing up our kids. And one more thing. When you screw up kids, you screw up the future. And when you screw up the future, oh, it gets even better. Then they become screwed up adults. Then you got to deal with them later. What is the matter with you? What the hell's the matter with you? What's going on with this country? What is happening to us? That's it. Then, after that, we go into crime. Wokeism is done. Rationality triumphs. Today I was in a CVS. There were two girls, teenagers. One had a backpack, and the other one is putting stuff in the backpack. And I'm looking around there and I'm thinking, does anybody see this? Or I'm not gonna say anything. I ain't gonna rat anybody out. I'm not security. I don't know anything about that. They don't care about that. Then I walk over and I'm thinking to myself, this is our by the way, the manager at the time's walking around with her mask underneath. It's like a an under chin warmer is all it is. Okay. This is all they're doing. And then I'm reading about this one pulls out a knife, and this one, 13-year-old boy stabbed. This one over here. We have these dimensions. Oh, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love now. This isn't. Um, did you hear this story? This is something. The man suspect identified in stabbing death of social justice advocate. A man who was stabbed, apparently, a suspect has been identified, and he's going to be doing life for stabbing a social justice advocate. The search was on for the man who fatally stabbed Ryan Carson, who dedicated his life to fighting for social justice. What does that mean? Now, it's sad that he's dead. I don't give a damn who's. He fought for social justice. Now we're finding out, and they're really laying this low. They're finding out that the social justice advocate wanted to defund the police and reimagine the police, and he's dead by some dirtbag who stabbed him for no reason. He was stabbed by some animal on the street who stabbed him, who took a knife and stabbed him. He's dead now. And if this guy had his way, we would have had no police. George Keane says, whatever happened to the prop age voters in California? Seems like Cali was more conservative when it comes to social issues. You're right about that, George. Remember when the Prop 8 fell, when they thought at the time, that's the gay marriage or same-sex marriage, when they said, well, you obviously should be for it. And they suspected or they believed that somehow black voters would somehow feel connected with this because of what? Because of miscegenation laws? No. What? They said being gay has nothing to do with being black. Well, they said, well, no, you should understand what's happening here, because you see, in the old days, remember this? They said black people, same-sex marriage. They said, well, black folks were obviously going to be outside for this because in 1967 or whatever, it was Loving against Virginia. It was a Supreme Court case that made anti-miscegenation laws obsolete. And black people were offended by this. They said, don't you ever confuse or suggest that being black is the same as being gay. They couldn't believe it. Thank you for that. Howie Brown says, Florida death penalty for child rape too much? Let me ask a question. Do you believe that murder is the only means that the death penalty is warranted? That's a very good question. Now, I don't like the death penalty because I don't like killing the wrong person. I'm funny about that. I don't mind killing people. Please, don't get me wrong. I was telling somebody the other day, you say, I'm plant-based. Oh, are you a vegan? I said, well, I guess technically when it comes to the diet. Oh, I said, I don't have a problem with hunting. What? No, I don't have a problem with people eating meat. Wait a minute. What? And you call yourself a vegan? I said, no, I don't eat meat because of the health part of it. But I'm sorry. I do not think that hunting, I don't hunt. I've never hunted before. Don't particularly care for it. So it's one of these things where I'm thinking to myself, I don't have a problem with the death penalty. I don't have a problem with war if done correctly. George Keane says, you are right on, Lionel. Lefties view everyone as a unitary monolith. No independent thinkers. Lionel for HOA president. Yes. Lotus for POTUS. Lionel of the United States for POTUS. See, let me explain something to you. Very, very simple. I'm just a realist. I don't have a problem. Let me explain something to you. Let me explain. Wait. Stop. If I told you, if you, listen to what I'm saying, starting Wednesday in my kingdom, if you beat up an old person, I will stab you in the eye with a pen. Just letting you know. You hear what I said? Starting Wednesday, if you do this, if you abuse an elderly person, I will stab you in the eye with a pen. Okay? Starting Wednesday. If you want to protest that, if you think that's draconian, here's what you do. Don't rough up an old person. If you want to protest the death penalty, don't kill anybody. But the problem is sometimes they say you're, what am I saying? They say that you're, what's the word? You see, I'm a rational person. I am not a Christian because I believe in stuff that I think Jesus would have absolutely no time for. And I'm sorry to say this. They would have no time for. You understand what I'm saying? They would have no time for me. Turn the other cheek. My ass turn the other cheek. Revenge is mine. Say that. No, revenge is great. Revenge is terrific. Serve cold, warm, lukewarm over a bed of rice. No. Do you have a problem? Anybody have a problem with seeking vengeance? If I found out somebody's on trial and they, let's say, dispatch somebody who hurt their child, not guilty. Give me the form. Nullification. Where do I sign? But he's guilty. I don't think he's guilty. Where do I sign? Where do I sign up? What are you, nuts? What are you, crazy? Yeah, but it's a sin. Sin my ass, it's a sin. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand any of this stuff. None of this. Now, certain things I think are ridiculous. Barbarism, burning women, your wives. Oh, please stop it. But I don't even want to get there. We don't even need to get there. I'm not talking about anything brutal. I'm not talking about burning people to the stake. I'm talking about fighting back and taking our country back. George King says, would you, Mrs. L, ever consider a Lotus cruise or a live show beyond New York City? I would love Lionel dating app to actually meet a single sane American. You know, first of all, cruise, never. I promise you, I can't promise you anything. I can't promise you that the sun will come up tomorrow, but I will promise you I'll never go on a cruise, ever. I would rather drink bleach or ink or lick a belt sander than go or suck a hospital mop than go on a cruise. I despise them. I despise cruise. And I see them constantly. The West Side Highway. You hear this in that Disney thing. Oh, God. I think I made myself very, very clear. So number one, children. Number two, crime. Number three, institutionalize violently mentally ill. Lock them up. Treat them, take care of them, lock them up. Now, understand something 99% of all mentally ill people are fine. They may look weird, they may scare you, they don't hurt anybody. But there's a couple of them that are different. Let me explain something. Imagine this represents your brain, okay? Your brain, malnourished, drugs, put some drugs in there, mix it up, alcohol, mental illness, abuse, neglect, bad diet, bad genes, genetic inbreeding. There, ta-da! Here you go. This is your lunatic. God bless him. God, I know it's your child, not mine. I'm gonna lock his ass up for his own good, and he ain't getting out because he hurts people. It's that simple. And if you hurt people, oh God, oh my God. New jails, new prisons, new. You know where? In the desert. And we're going to have compacts. We're going to have these rules that say that, for example, hey, Florida or Georgia or Arkansas, if you don't have room, we can, and it could be a private prison. I know people, there's problem with private prison, but I don't really care about this. I want there to be this holy, look at these people, lock them up. I know what I'm saying sounds just like, but remember, this isn't for you. It's for these dirtbags. It's for these dirtbags. These are the people I want to get. These are the people whose attention I want to get. This is how we win an election. Gavin Newsom wants, I don't know what he wants to do with these people. I have no idea. George Keane says, with border issues, homeless, etc., crime in D.C., do you think the 2024 election roadmap looks like Nixon's Law and Order 1968 election strategy? Yes. Yes. If it's done correctly, George. If it's done correctly. Absolutely. What are you kidding me? Oh, border issues. I've told you this before. My border issue, I don't want to hear about Matt Gaetz. I don't want to hear. Listen, I think there's some issues which, frankly, I'm not going to waste my time with. AI, AGI, forget it. Nobody cares about that. But border? Oh, yeah. You want to hear my border issue? Want to hear my border? Very simple. Trump even mentioned it a while back. And if you've heard me say this before, I'll say it again. I pick up the phone and I called Obrador from Mexico. And I said, yo, Obi, it's me, Lotus, as in POTUS. How you doing? How's it hanging? Loose, full of juice, ready for use, huh? Uh-huh. Okay, listen to me. Llámame. I have a deal for you. I found out that your cartels, the Sinaloa cartel, the Zetas, the Viagra, I think they got the Viagra. I swear to God, these ZPT, whatever they're called. You know what you're doing? You're dropping a lot of fentanyl, not fentanyl, like Benadryl. You're dropping a lot of fentanyl in my part of the neck of the woods. So here's what I'm going to do. Oh, wait a minute. Hold it. Stop right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Stan Lipman for speaker. Whenever you see the name Stan Lipman on any ballot, you vote for him. I don't care if you don't even know who he is. If you say, who the hell is Stan Lipman? Who the hell is Stan Lipman? What are you, nuts? He's one of the greatest human beings ever. Right, Stan? You're a good man, Stan. Stan Lipman for anything. Remember that. Stan Lipman. How can you not vote for somebody named Stan Lipman? There's never, it could never be a serial killer named Stan Lipman. Stan Lipman sounds like a Ford dealership. Stan Lipman Ford. Right? George Keane says, what do you think about Pops Biden, about face and build the border wall? Your Lotus strategy also sounds like Tom Clancy's Clear and Present Danger. Oh, absolutely. By the way, Tom Clancy was such a spook. It wasn't even funny. Tom Clancy was a CIA operative. Tom Clancy was absolutely oh, he was. You do know how that works, right? You do know how that works. You do know how that works. Anyway. Oh, absolutely. Clear and present danger. See, there's one thing people understand. I have this incredible respect. I know people get all bent out of shape, and I don't want to get into this Roger Waters stuff. But I like the way Israel handles people who used to come over and bomb them. Took care of that. You don't have that anymore. Used to have them on buses into it. Don't have that anymore. Don't have that anymore. You don't have that anymore. And it's like, okay, you don't have that anymore. There's a way, there's just a real, it's like a different attitude. You don't have that. And if all of a sudden you have a Clear and Present Danger, remember that? Where the Willem Dafoe, where they sent that, they found it was a cellulose bomb and they knew it was absolutely no problem. No problem. I have no, this idea, this prohibition against targeted, there's one thing I've never understood. You can say what you want. Targeting individuals, Americans. Who was that guy? Hamada, Casey Kasem, Salami, whatever his name was. I got him, and they knew who he was because they found his ring and they just zapped him right there. Anyway, I've got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is going in and taking innocent people out, bothering them, hurting them, destroying buildings, neighborhoods, schools. No. Do you know this person? Yeah, take them out. Take them out. I've got no problem. What are we doing here? I don't understand why it is that we have this idea that bombing civilians makes sense. I don't get that. George King says, speaking about Tom Clancy, did you hear DJT in Michigan talk about showing the Taliban had a picture of his house to get the message? Priceless. Well, let me tell you something, George, and I thank you. Donald Trump he's so limpid. He's so pellucid. He knows a clarity few people have. 100%. Few people have this. See, I believe in this idea about clarity of what it is you want. Let me give you an example. During the Troubles in Ireland, terrible times, bombing innocent people, terrible, horrible. The issue, crystal clear. Get out. No, we want to stay. There we go. They got the Ulster folks. They got the Republicans. We get out of Ireland. No, we want to stay. Okay, that's the issue. Clear. Now, how you do it, it's a different story. Innocent civilians, no. The moment you kill innocent people. But I like when an issue is clear. Vietnam wasn't clear. What do we do? I don't know. How do we know we won? I don't know. Do we take we took Mount Jean Sullivan. Great. We knocked the Nazis out. We put the flag. We won. Okay. What do you do in Vietnam? I don't know. Go to that hut. Hey, we took this hill. They used to give the hills numbers by virtue of how high they are. Hill 175 because of the kilometers or meters or whatever the hell. I mean, what is this? It was the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. What are you doing? They got the Marines in. To do what? We're going to take that patch of land over there, that grass. You're going to take the grass. Wait a minute. You're not going to bring my Marines in there. What are you talking about? What do you want to do? What do you want? How do you know the war is over? I don't know. In every sporting event, you got to know when you've won. Boxing, pretty simple. You knock them out. Or the judges or whatever it is. It's really simple. It's simple. And what you do too is you go in, you buy people off, you pay them, and you sit down And you're going to ask yourself, who is our enemy? Everybody right now, listen to me. Write down one word. Who is our enemy? Please go ahead. Please. Who's our enemy? Go ahead. Spend your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Beulah Talmadge says, Lionel, are we approaching a popular uprising resulting from people's exasperation with the soft on crime, reality inventing mayors and DAs? Is a reversion to swift, harsh, old West justice coming? Yes. Yes. And the reason for it is because it's not because harsh. Now, granted, I want due process. I don't want to I told you, I've been against the death penalty for the longest time because of the fact that we're going to get the wrong persons, not because I have a problem with it. I don't understand this. This is why I don't understand this. Christianity, I would have the hardest time because I think, well, I don't believe this. Mr. Keene says invading Mexico for Mexican War 2.0 would have much more sense than Iraq. Agree? I don't want to invade it. I just want to blow stuff up. Seriously, I mean, I know this sounds like ridiculous, but I'm going to say this building here, get out. Israel would do that. I know people don't want to talk about it. Oh, they would say, we're going to do that. Remember when Hamas would send rockets off of, they go to a building, go to a house, go to the top, and they would send rocket because as soon as you rock the Iron Dome, Israel knew exactly where it came from. They had the blimps and the anyway. They would say, "Okay, we know where it is. Everybody out of the house, get out. Sorry, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that to us." But let me go back. Who's our enemy? Who's our enemy? Who is our enemy? That's my question. Sailing Prepper Dark Secret says, I'd like to know your opinion on this. I saw in the news today, they accused Donald Trump of giving top secret nuclear information to Australia, and the biggest enemy America has is America. By the way, thank you. BS regarding giving his nuclear stuff. Caca del toro. Mierda. Merde. You got that? And the biggest, our America, our enemy is the shadow government here, not the deep state, shadow government. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who is responsible? Who is responsible for the Russia-Ukrainian war? One word. Who's responsible for the Russian-Ukrainian war? Who is it? Who started that? Who started the Russian-Ukrainian war? Who? Who did it? Who started it? Simple question. Simple question. Who started it? Who's responsible for that? Who? Anybody? Tell me. Who is it? Who's responsible? Tell me. Very simple question. Who's responsible for all that nonsense? Who? Tell me who. Who? Victoria Nuland, NATO, we did it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Putin said, you're not going to have a NATO country on my border. Do I make myself clear? Remember, what was it? The Budapest? Was it Budapest? When they invited Ukraine and Georgia. Remember that one? He was very, very clear. Putin said, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this on my border. You're not going to do this. Don't think you're going to do this. Ain't going to happen. I'm telling you, you're not going to do it. You understand that? So they create this Kolomoisky. No, Kolomoisky creates basically Zelensky. And they say, I'm going to be the what? You're going to be, okay. And we're going to offer you membership in NATO. But they haven't given it to him yet. Oh, no, be not mistaken. I know all this by the way, nothing has worked. Sanctions, leave Putin alone. What are you doing? What do you expect this man to do? Leave him alone. He doesn't pose any threat to us. It's just like countries. Sorry. George Keene says, I'm not a fan of war, but the cartels in our open borders is like cancer seeping through. I hate seeing our treasure wasted on Ukraine and other grifts. The DTRA labs on the Ukrainian border. Oh, well, let me tell you something. Thank you, George. By the way, excellent. Let me explain something about war to you. War to me is amputation. Amputation is horrible. Lopping off of a perfectly good, it's not perfectly good. What does that mean? If you don't cut off the leg, the necrosis, the gangrene, the infection will course through the entire body. You have to do it to save the body. Oh, okay. But you know what? I changed my mind. I thought you would. War is very simply that. War is nothing but respond. It's necessary. And the rules are simple. You have to have a clear reason, number one. You've got to have a commitment to what it is you're trying to do. What is your war? What is it? Next, you employ your own form of terrorism. Terrorism is a word that we use. I want to go for specific surgical attacks on critical areas that get the point across. Translation, I want you to stop doing whatever you're doing. That I can get to. Number two, there are certain people we got to deal with. You can say, okay, China, sit down. Okay, Xi, let's talk. What'll it be? What's your story? Tell me your story. Well, Xi will say, let me tell you my story. Before 1949, we were eating dirt. And you are apparently forgetful of that. You are the United States. And we don't like you. Fair enough. Fair enough. And we, very frankly, do not think much of you. And if I hope to at least be 91, because in 2049, this is going to be the biggest party anybody has ever seen. Look what they did. I don't want to rehash China. I don't want to. People have this thing. They zero in on Russia, but China, they kind of like, well, I don't know why. I don't know why. But if you want to talk about pure badass, I'll put Mao up against anybody. Sal Manella says there was a report today showing that the illegal alien gangs are now venturing out into the suburbs to commit robberies and other crimes. Will things change once the limousine liberals get a taste? Oh, absolutely. In fact, Sal, thank you for that, though. You know what else they're doing? They're getting kids to do this. They're getting kids to do this. You know what I'm saying? They're getting kids, little kids. Do you hear what I'm saying? Kids. They're sending kids into fancy restaurants, grabbing purses. Oh, yeah. Cartels run the show. Oh, crime, it depends upon what do you want to do about it. What do you want to do about it? But let me go back to this China for a moment. What do you do with China? Maria Bartiromo has a way to talk like that. Maria Bartiromo, and if you get a hold of, she has, it's not a list. I don't know what, I'm a mouth fan, and it just drives me crazy. Anyway, she talked about China. What do you want to do with China? What do you want to do? What would you be? Well, they're stealing our well, no shit. I know that. Okay, thank you, Maria. Maria figured that one out. Oh, you think they're stealing our intellectual property? No, really? Okay. Let me talk to him. What is it? You're stealing our stuff. I know I am. I know you are. But what'll it be? What'll it be? Tell me. What are we going to do? And by the way, people should talk off the record because Khrushchev and Kennedy used to talk all the time. They were. What'll it be? What are we going to do about it? My favorite is the Uyghurs. Have you heard him explain the Uyghurs to you? That's my favorite. Xi Jinping says, these are Muslim extremists. You know about that, don't you? Oh, okay. Well, you did Abu Ghraib. I know. You did My Lai. I know. I know. We got Tuskegee. I know. We're in 80. How many countries are you in? I know. What do you do about that, Maria? What are you going to do? How do you deal with these people? What do you tell them? How do you deal with these people? How do you explain to them, basically, see their point, but then be realistic about it? George Keene says, you and Mrs. L are considered our best friends. I've never forget my last Lionel live show, and Mrs. L sat me next to Tommy James. You two fill my life with great joy and make me feel less alone in this intellectual darkness. Thank you, George. Yes, Tommy James from the Shondells. Marvelous, marvelous talent, an incredible talent. By the way, February 3rd is our new one. And by the way, it's stand up. It's kind of, but we pass cards out. People ask questions. It's the most incredible night ever. Sailing prepper dark teachers. I thought our corporate powers sold our intellectual property to China. Don't be surprised if they don't. Don't be surprised if they don't. See, this is the thing. You have to have a crook to deal with a crook. Everybody, tell me what your beef is. Tell me what your beef is. I understand it. You're a communist. See, Xi Jinping, if you sat down, have you ever heard this guy, Stephen Kotkin? Listen to him versus Mearsheimer. They're like two, Kotkin like thinks about, do you know that Stalin was in power longer than anybody. He was an absolute diehard badass. His collectivization, his collection, oh my God. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with these people? One of the best things that Trump ever did was he dealt with, you know who's the least crazy? Is Kim Jong-un. Least crazy of them all. They're not crazy at all. Trump did one of the best things ever. One of the greatest things ever. It was hostage negotiating. One of the tricks to hostage negotiating is to first talk to the guy like you understand what he's saying. Understand this? Love this. Does China invade Taiwan or no in the line of view? No, doesn't have to. He could turn China off. He just turn off the lights if he wants to. Invade it? Nah. There's no need. It's messy. What are you going to do? You want to take it? You're going to put a flag? No. No, there's no need for that. Nobody's going to invade. Daniel Nathan Leland says, how important is the fact that China now owns 4 of the 6 biggest Hollywood studios? Does this portend trouble for us? You know what? I cannot independently verify this, but I take your word for it, Daniel. Let me control your means of communication. Let me control what you consider to be your style, your what am I trying to say? Let me control your status, your lore, your history, your entertainment. Let me do that. Let me do it. Let me explain this. One of my favorite stories is a notion of organ harvesting. Organ harvesting. Now, they will never say to you, yeah, we're doing that. They're never going to tell you, you got a problem? Yeah, we'll take care of that. Well, I have a liver transplant. You got any money? Yeah, we'll give you a liver transplant. What do you got? We'll take care of you. What do you mean? Yeah, liver, come here. Come to our country. We'll take care of it. We know how to do this. We know how to do this. We'll take care of it. Got a match for you. I was in prison. Prisoner number 13402. Yeah, here's your lucky day. You're out. What? Come on with me. Get in that car. And they drive you over. And on their way over, guess what? The truck stops and they give you a play, one of those coolers, those play school coolers. Guess what's inside? George Keene says, at first I hated Dennis Rodman for talking with Kim, but with wisdom and time, he deserves the Congressional Gold Medal of Freedom. Well, maybe yes and maybe no. But let me tell you what I said, by the way. Let me tell you what Trump did. Hostage negotiation. You walk into a room, and there's a guy with a gun, and there's people there. And what are you going to do? You're going to walk in. What are you going to tell him? What are you going to tell him? What are you going to tell him? Hey, you bad guy with a gun, you criminal, you. No. You tell them they don't understand your position. You're in charge here, and they're not making you any deals that make any sense. I haven't heard a deal that makes sense. Have you? I haven't heard one. They don't understand your position. How did you get in this position? Did they think what? You woke up today and said, I'm going to take people hostage? No. They don't see your position. And all of a sudden this guy says, this son of a bitch knows what I'm thinking. So what did Trump say? What did Trump say to Mr. What did he say? He said, nobody, he says, you're a young man. You took over from your father's, whatever it is, and you have a tremendous responsibility to your country. Remember something. They go through the statistics. There's a great guy from University of Chicago. I can never remember his name. Look at the population of North Korea versus us. They have the same number of their military that we do. A fraction of the size, fraction of the population. The whole country's garrisoned. The whole place. They're ready to go. They have, I think, 10-year a mandatory subscription, conscription, or a subscription too. You got to get a magazine. Anyway, they have these mountains, and they have been ready for war. You don't want to F with these people. Don't. They have been waiting. They have been in this apocalyptic. They know. Okay, that's the first guy I want to meet. That's the first one. What'll it be? And the thing to do, which is the most important, and what I always do, the realism, is I always say, I know your position. I got it. I understand it. Going back to the Troubles, the Irish Trouble, I'm fascinated by this. It's so simple. You want the British out? You want to stay. I got it. It's the simplest thing. I got it. But going back to China, what do you want to do? And Xi Jinping will say, lay off that Uyghur business. Okay, all right. You don't understand. Okay, what about Falun Gong? Whatever. What about Taiwan? You're not going to do that. Boy, that do, man. Now, why do you want to mess with them? What Nancy Pelosi did, the first, see, that's what they did. That's the way we did it with Putin. Let me explain to you, Putin. Let me just go back a little bit. Always understand. Understand. You know how stupid we were when they said, well, he was KGB. Really? Yeah, that was considered pretty good. That's like saying FBI, CIA. They kind of looked up to it. Then it was FSB, NKVD before that, granted under Stalin, whatever. But this was something to look forward to. He was proud of it. Your son's in the KGB? Wow. Way to go. No, we thought it was like the Klan or something. I don't know what the hell you thought it was. And what happened? I'll never forget this. A friend of mine, great friend of mine, he's Russian, said, in the 20th century, we had two revolutions, 1917, 1991. Actually, three with the Civil War. People went to bed in 1991. They woke up the next day, the Soviet Union's gone. You know what that does to you? You know what that does to you? The Great Bear. They look back. You know who they loved? Stalin. Stalin made them tough. Stalin. Yeah, Stalin. People love tough. Understand the way they think. They might not like the gulags. Obviously, they're not talking about these horrible collectivism. Yeah, I understand that. But understand the way these people think. Watch the way they march. Look at their sensibilities. Watch their movies. Watch their culture. What do they like? I'll never forget this. This is the greatest thing. My friend, who I think personally I would love Japan because of their cleanliness, their order, their politeness, their rules. I love that. I love the rules. You tell me the rule, I'll go by them. Little things like don't talk on the subway. I'm in. Don't eat walking. If you eat, you got to go around the corner and eat. No. Don't let us see you eat. Okay, I like that. You throw paper down. You ever see people throw stuff out of a car? I want to. They're incredible. I love these people. Bowing, nice, clean. Have you seen the omelets? Japanese, I don't eat eggs, but if I did, dear, I gotta, that crazy guy with the hat or the hair and the omelet on the rice. What there's a name for it. Their food is anyway. But understand something. And I had this explained to me. They will look at you and say, listen, we love you and we will respect you and we will treat you with the utmost respect. But you are not Japanese. You will never be Japanese. And we don't want you marrying necessarily, this is what my friend said, our daughters or whatever it is. Not out of hate. And I'm thinking, I dig it. I dig it. No problem. No. I just want you to understand. That's the way they think. What's wrong with that? King said, being a geo nerd, North Korea borders not only, I guess, China, but Iran, I guess. What is it as well? I wouldn't want to be Kim for all the money in the world. The U.S. invaded, Russia in 1918. I've got to say something about this. And I've got to explain this whole thing. When you see, I want to go back. I'm going to say something, and I'm going to bring up something which is a very bad subject, but I'm going to bring this. But first, Daniel Nathan Leland says, are we approaching another civil war? No. I realize that America's arsenal is in the hands of the deep state and shadow government in the sense that people don't stand a chance. No, we will never, ever have a civil war. No, because we don't care about anything. We don't no, we have no interest. None. I know that sounds terrible. I'm sorry to say it. Americans are too lazy. They don't give a damn about any of this stuff. None of it. But let me explain something to you. Let's talk about World War II. What was World War II about? Oh my God. First and foremost, remember my rule. Number one, don't say good versus evil. Don't do it. Don't say good versus evil. Don't. There's no such thing as evil. Evil is a word, a concept that you come up with. Even bad, terrible serial killers will tell you, I'm not doing this to be evil. I just like this. It's not to be evil. When they look back on their life and they say, remember how evil I was? No, that's not why they do it. They do it because of this disgusting prey. Let me go back to what's going on. There's a certain person we don't want to talk about in this area. During World War II, looked like Chaplin. Okay, let me ask you a question. Was he crazy? Was he crazy? Not in your life. Was he crazy? Nope. We love this crazy. Oh, you're crazy. He's crazy. You're crazy. He's not crazy. Believe me when I tell you that. Nobody's crazy. He's not crazy. No, he's crazy. No, he's not crazy. I'm telling you, he's not crazy. But anyway, let me. So my question is simply this. Oh, what is he? What did he want? What was it about? Now, evil, weird, the idea of doing this stuff, saying these things, people who went along with it, it's very complicated, but very easy. Let me see if I can explain this to you. You ready for this? You ready? Here's the greatest level, the greatest lesson you'll ever get. We are not evil. We're broken. We're this very we are like bonobos. We fling our excrement at people. We steal. There's nothing that great about us. So quit asking why we do things that are tough. George King says, sorry, Lionel, the YouTube, whatever, I feel is making me censor my super chat. Korean War, could Korean War, could USA have won? The Russo-Japanese War was a prologue to World War II. Um, please, as far as Korea goes, one of the best stories ever. Tom Ricks and his review of Ridgway, O.P. Smith, MacArthur, this stupidity of not understanding what the hell Korea was about, including up to and including terrain and otherwise. By the way, I'm jumping all over the place to answer your question, but I think winning, what does winning mean? Okay, I'm going to stop this one thing, but you asked a good question. Define win. Please tell me what win is. Tell me what win means. What does win mean? What does it mean? Conquering, putting our flag, having them stop, apologizing, saying uncle. What does win mean? What does win? What does it? It really means stop. Japan, stop. You win. Germany, oh my God. Double humiliation. Double. They were close though. See, this is the thing which let me go back to what I'm saying. If there's something stupid that men can do, they'll do it. We're horrible. We're horrible individually. We're horrible to each other. We have criminals who do terrible things. A lot of people don't commit offenses, but a lot of people do. And they do terrible things. And we get involved in wars, and they have people who basically go to war because they don't care. George Keane says, wasn't it Ridgway called Iron Tits because he had grenades on his chest? No, he had one grenade and a grenade and a first aid kit. He was also like 90. He had like, I don't know how many heart attacks, had a real young wife. He was 95, 97, whatever it was. He was phenomenal. O.P. Smith, the great Marine who because of logistics understood how that thing went. Let me tell you something. For war, let's go back. I know I'm all over the place, but that's okay. Follow with me. Men are terrible. Human beings are terrible. Years ago, there was a cartoon I had on my refrigerator, and I loved it. It was from a guy in the Everglades. And in the Everglades, they had a little pup tent, and there was a sign, kind of like a scrawl, and the sign said something like, "You'd better really want to come in here." This was a little tent, and he wrote it. "You'd better really want to come in here." And I love that. You're not going to like what you find in here. So ask yourself, do I really want to do this? I love the idea of animals. Animals, the most vicious animals in the world, are afraid of you unless you give them no choice. Then they'll rip you apart. Believe it or not, a lot of gorillas can rip you apart. They're not, this idea is like, why am I aggressive? What am I aggressive for? That's why when an animal has this bred into them, these really ferocious territorial things, that's weird. You're doing it for me? Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. I'm a cane corso. I hang around my area. These are my people. I'm going to go out there and fight wolves. Why? I don't know. Because of their sheep. Are those your sheep? They are now. Most animals think, well, with the sheep. Let's talk about war, about animals. Who's more effective? Who's more effective, the dog or a wolf? Dog or a wolf? Now you got to probably say to yourself, it's a wolf. But why? Why is a wolf better? I like to say bite pressure, not bite pressure. Why? Wolves know how to fight. They're predators. That's all they do. They eat, they're okay, and then they go out. And what they're good is they love to move together, and they're distracting. They get you in there. You can send in your best dog, even with those collars with the spikes. But a wolf says, that's okay. I'll play with you. My other buddies are going to go around, and then we're going to share the kill. But that's okay. Good for you, tough guy. I'm a wolf. Remember the story about the frog and the scorpion? It's my nature. That's what this is. That's what war is. That's what's going on. Go back to what I said. What does Xi Jinping want? I'll make a deal with you. I'm going to make a deal with you. You're not going to conquer me. I'm not going to conquer you. What do you want? We'll pretend that we don't like each other. We don't want anybody to think we're on the deal. But what are we doing here? I'm going to make a concession. You want that? Okay, I'll let you have it. And it's going to be some bad stuff because he's going to want to do some stuff that we don't think is a good idea. But look what we do. Look what we've done. We dropped 2 atom bombs. What are we going to do? Do the moralistic thing? You got to make a deal. And the idea, too, is you've got to sit there and you've got to realize that when it comes to Ukraine, nobody wants to hear anything about this. Listen to Mearsheimer on that one. Listen to Mearsheimer. Remember everything they said about Putin? He had cancer. He had a tremor. He had Parkinson's. He was crazy. None of it's true. They lie to you. Did you hear Putin recently when he was talking about Trudeau? He said, we fought World War II. We were side by side. What do you... See, all I want to do is I want to know the truth. That's it. Let me ask you a question. You know, when it comes to changing the subject, you want to stop drug importation? How do you stop drugs? How do you stop drugs? You legalize it. That's it. Sorry about that. Ridgeway. Yes. You legalize it. Legalize drugs. That's all it's about. Legalize drugs. Why do people sell drugs? To make money. Why? Now, some things you can't legalize. Some things you can't. What? CSAM, child sexual abuse material. You know why people do this? Not because they're pedos, but because of the fact that they make money. Granted, they serve a clientele that does this. How do you do that? See, that's a different one. See, I can't look the other way with that one. I can drugs. I can work on that one, so to speak. Well, maybe it's something that you elect to do, but not with the victimization of children. It's a different story. George Keane says, do you think the military-industrial complex endorses giving China our secrets to make money on both sides? The J-35 looks like the F-35 a lot. Absolutely. May I ask you a question? Secrets from what? George, do you think we're going to be involved in dogfights? Let me ask you something. What's the next war going to look like? Question number 1, where is the war? Number 2, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? Annihilation of the enemy? What's it going to be? They're going to shut off the power. They're going to shut it off. That's all they're going to do. It's not going to be any kind of war that you've heard of. It's not going to be a war that you're used to. It's not going to be any kind of war that follows the same rules. What are you talking about? It's not going to be that at all. What do you think the war is going to be? How are they going to fight it? They're going to fight it by doing a lot of things too. Grid, banking, digital, telecommunications, maybe EMP, electromagnetic pulse, low orbital, suborbital, some kind of a nuclear thing, fries out the grid. But then if you do that, we're going to give it right back to you. Kind of a mutual assured destruction thing. That's where it's going to be next time. So we will see. My friends, what an incredible night tonight. Dear God, an hour and 14 minutes, you have compelled my attention. And I want to thank you for that. That's incredible. George Keane, I don't even know how to tell you thank you. Your perspicacity, your questions are without peer. Daniel Nathan Leland, thank you as well. It's a great name, isn't it? It's an excellent name. Mr. Keane. Sal Manella, ladies and gentlemen. Sal Manella, thank you so much for your kindness as well. Mrs. Beulah Talmadge. Ms. Talmadge, thank you as well. Stan Lippman, everybody. Stan Lippman. Don't forget, whatever you see Stan Lippman's name on a ballot, vote for him. Vote Stan Lippman for anything. Howie Brown and his band of renown. Thank you so much. And excellent. That is good. That is very, very good. Now, George Keane says, the next time Leah Thomas wrestling Riley Gaines fought on a social media, I agree with you. The next is not like the past. We, alas, are always fighting the last war. By the way, let me ask you a question about this. Mrs. Ellen and I had a very interesting discussion on this one. We had not a debate, but we were a question. Here's my position. I believe that the only problem I have with war, what am I saying about war? The only problem I have with a man competing against a woman is when the man's physical abilities are greater and he is by that particular aspect he's given a benefit. Okay. Other than that, let me ask you something. And by the way, ladies, answer this, or men too, but I'm curious. In a beauty contest, John Arnott says, I don't know nothing. I've been here for years. Love it. Thank you, sir. Will Pulitard. Is it possible that our globalist overlords are working toward the erasure of national borders because they now recognize the existence of extraterrestrial life and we must face such threats as life? That I do not know, but the erasure of borders, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. The whole notion of a new world order, globalism, is the erasure, without a doubt, of that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt. But let me go back to this question. Leah Thomas is a man, born a man, exceptional swimming because of power and a whole bit. Okay, fine. Now, what if there was a man, born a man, with or without surgery, but is more beautiful stylistically than any woman? Should he be able to compete in a beauty contest against women? Is the goal the most beautiful woman, or is the goal the most beautiful? And if he is the most beautiful, by whatever particular version this is, should he not be able to compete? I say yes, because there's nothing physical. It's just face, form, body, whatever. That's it. But with other things, strength, that's not fair. Mrs. L thought, no, this should be a beautiful woman versus a man. I don't think it matters because I think the whole notion of beauty pageants and the like are barbaric. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. Thank you. Did you get the newsletter today? Did you sign up for the newsletter? Have you done this yet? Have you done this? Let me make sure you get this down. It's very important. Had a beaut today. I like this. Where is this? Okay, just a minute. Ah, there we go. And here we go. Here it is. Please sign up for this newsletter. You don't want to be without this. There it is. Liz Solak signs up for it. She knows it. Have your own man's pageant. Liz, you don't have to get upset about this. By the way, I think that the most barbaric thing, well, one of the few, that we do is a beauty pageant. It's like a minstrel show. It's degrading. It's horrible. And women, unfortunately, will, I think, still do a lot to win. In any event, ask yourself the question, when does physical or actual gender differences really matter? That's all. So anyway, there you go, my friends. Thank you so very much. You have been wonderful. An hour and 19 minutes with you this evening. One for the records. By the way, got a brand new, check it out, a brand new, had a wonderful discussion with our friends from Redacted. And I've got that up there. This is Natalie Morris, excuse me. Natalie and Clayton Morris, her husband. Very, very good. Very interesting. So that's up there as well. One of my various chances to get out and spread the good word of truth. So anyway, thank you for that. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so, so very much. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., kids. Thank you. I've got a great interview I've got coming up. I don't do a lot of them. This one I've been waiting for a long time. I'll let you know after I do it. But the schedule for tomorrow. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. I mean this to all of the super chatters. Thank you. Thank you immensely. Thank you for following us. Thank you for enjoying the chance to converse and just speak. And that's all. Thank you for that. See you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, remember these words: the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. That. And now we're going to hit the other button.